Hello again. Thank you for watching once more. And today I would love to discuss about the one of the very current topics that we've been discussing recently. It's the pandemic, the coronavirus, COVID-19. And first of all, before I start, please, I just want to acknowledge that, it's been a difficult time for everyone, literally on the planet, living through these times because living in confinement and lockdowns everywhere is so difficult, and we're dealing with our daily lives and both with our daily lives and all the issues that we might have encountered during this time, like mental health and things like that. So well done for everyone for you know being brave and for trying to come through this period on the other side stronger and happier and bigger than the illness. And I would also love to offer my condolences to everyone who has been affected by the virus, all those who've lost, their lovely family members, all their beloved friends, and anyone who's been affected, who's been ill or anything like that. I'm wholeheartedly with you guys, and I offer my condolences to those who've been bereaved. Now, I would love to discuss about this topic on a slightly different light, because on the radio and on so many different outlets we we were talking about the impact of the pandemic on the lives of minority communities. And I would just love to share my little thoughts and experience about this whole pandemic and the lives of us, the people of minority. When generally when we leave our countries of origin, eh, we we go in search of a better life, of a new life with better aspirations and dreams and things like that. And that itself, really, it's actually a different topic which we might be discussing in a different video. But that being said, we arrive in these countries where we live on exile, and life is not easy. It's not always easy, not that it's easy anywhere, but when we get here, we don't always have, like, the best opportunities and things like that. One of the things that I've noticed with us people of minority is the fact that we are generally confined in some jobs, in some kind of jobs, which, again, please don't get me wrong, I'm not pointing a finger or saying that any job is not worth it. But what I'm trying is that most of us in our community, we are confined in the health sector, and that itself is not a bad thing on a normal day. But when a pandemic like the situation we've witnessed strikes, it makes life very challenging then, because we end up, let's say, for example, in with a household where we have two, three people, two, three adults, or sometimes even more, working in the care system. That will automatically substantiate or multiply the risk of the people living in that household catch the virus, isn't it? Let's say if I if we are in a house where we have two parents, mom and dad, working in the health system, and it's not like they're doing the top quality job. Let's say they're like doctors, or they just come in and then give some guidance and they go. No, I mean, we bottom line, let's say nurses or care workers and things like that. So if we have like the two parents working in the care, in the health system, excuse me, and then we have the children as well, in the long run going in the health system because they haven't maybe found the path in whatever they've studied at uni, we end up in a household where we have like four adults working in the care system, and that will would have with um, the pandemic, in relation to the pandemic again, because that's our main topic in this video, that would have multiplied the risk of people in that household by 100%. But if in the society we live, those people were given, let's say those children were given the opportunity, for example, to work in the field that they've studied, it would have reduced the risk of that family by, let's say, 50%. Okay, and that is where I call, the issue of of social justice. I've seen, for example, in my time when I went to university, I saw so many of us graduating from university, but because there was a lack of opportunities in the field we studied, like I had a friend who studied civil engineering, but she ended up going into the care sector because she couldn't find a job in in civil engineering. She wouldn't have any chance to apply what she studied at school. I had another friend who studied architecture and who ended up still working in call centers and doing some care works along the line and things like that, simply because she had applied for so many jobs in the field but couldn't get the chance, couldn't get the opportunity. So what is the next best step then in such a case? We are adults, we have needs, we have like our daily lives to care for at the end of the day. If you are, as I said, if you are a child, you grow up, you go to university, and then after that you are an adult, you get to an age where you need to look after yourself. And if you are not given the opportunity in the field that you've studied, what is the next best step? What is the next right step for you? You will try and pay for the bills. At the end of the day, we're still humans, and who we it's like this Maslow hierarchy of needs. Before we get to the Rolls Royce or the private jets and things like that, we still have to feed ourselves on a daily basis. We still have to get the roof over our head. We still need to pay, like, for a phone bill. I mean, we are young people, we need to be on those platforms, social media, Instagram, and all of those things. And if we can't pay for it, I mean, there will always be a time where it doesn't matter how much your dad and your mom love you, you will need to provide for yourself. And this is what I'm talking about, that what is then the next best step when you finish from university and you're never given the opportunity to do a job in your field. Then the next best step for you will be to take whatever you can to earn some money. And that is how so many of us, we end up in the care sector and or in the health sector. And as I said, we confined there. And to me, that is one of the aspects really that has caused probably the rate of infection to be higher in our communities and things like that. When I look at us, I mean, in let's say if I take the Black community that I'm very proud to be part of, it's in every 10 people you can easily, and I mean easily, find up to 8 people working in the care system, working in being involved in some kind of care. And don't get me wrong, please, I'm not trying to say that being working in a care system is not a good quality job, or it's not what we should do, or it's not what we deemed to do, and all of those kind of things. No, please, hand of heart on my heart, I have a lot of time, and I have a lot of respect for anyone working in any care, in any sort of care, yeah, looking after people and things like that. But what I'm saying is that sometimes, and this is where I call the issue of social justice, because sometimes even those of us who were qualified to do something else, to work in a different field, we're not given the chance to do those kind of jobs, and we still end up where we still end up in those sectors. And this is where the confinement in in my opinion, comes from. And this is also where then when a pandemic like this one strikes, we end up being hurt so badly because our daily life is just like reflected in the pandemic. It's like when people were wondering, oh, why is it that the people of this community are mostly affected? I mean, I'll give you a very simple example. If you live in a house, you wake up in the morning and you realize, oh, there is no electricity in this house. But because you have the daylight, you just go on minding your own business, playing, dancing, having a party, and things like that. By the time the evening comes and then it starts getting dark, and then you trip over things you can't see, and you go like, oh, what's happening? What is happening in this house? I can't see. I'm falling down. Why is it that the electricity is not working? No, 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 no. You woke up in the morning, you realized that there was no electricity in the house, and you didn't do anything to fix the problem. Okay, you just went by because you could benefit from the daylight. You could enjoy your day without thinking so much about the fact that there was no electricity. And now that the evening draws near and the darkness is surrounding you in the house, you started thinking, oh, why is it that I think that example really works in terms of how we, the people of minority, have been affected by this pandemic, by the coronavirus. Because if we live in a society where we're giving very, very few opportunities, at the end of the day, when the illness comes, as I said, it will strike us. But then it will just be a reflection of what our situation in the society has been. I think no one belonging to the black and ethnic minority communities has been surprised by that news on the radio, and because it was massive everywhere on the media, on the news outlets. All the people of minority have died more and things like that. But they have died more because it's a reflection of, as I said, the way the society treats us, the way, as I said, as again, the way we are confined in some kind of jobs. And then when the pandemic strikes, it's just, the evening drawing near, as I gave in the example, and as I said in the example earlier, excuse my English, but yeah, it is it is the reality anyway coming facing us. It is the reality staring at us, because if there is no fairness in the society, the illness will just come and magnify the issues. It doesn't mean that the issue is new or the issue was never there. The the pandemic has just magnified the little social struggles and injustice that us, the people in our communities, have been through. Now, please don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to throw a stone here. I'm trying to have a, I'm trying to have like a healthy discussion on this channel and see how we can move things forward, how we can change things for better. If we can pick up a CV without thinking about the name on the CV, without looking about the background of the person on the CV. It doesn't matter if it's a high quality job. If we can give the opportunity to people, if we can have a cup of tea with people, if we don't look at the color of people first, if we don't look at the background of people first, if we don't look at the way those people speak English and the accent of people first, then that is already like, a path to the right way. If we think about representation in our society, not taking just, not always pointing the finger at, oh, one person has made it from the BAME community, from the black and minority community, therefore you are represented. No, it's about giving those who strive the chance to be better. It's about giving them the opportunity to be the best they can be if they are already on track. If someone has got the degree, if someone has got the experience necessary, please give them the opportunity, give them the promotion. That is, I think, in my opinion, please, and as I said, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to point an accusing finger or throwing a stone at anyone. All I'm trying to say here is that there is a way forward, is acceptance, is tolerance, is giving people the opportunity, those who can manage or handle that opportunity. We should be surprised when we see someone with